Everything else, they're doing a fantastic job. It's been a really good organised event. We all got here despite the trains and everything else, and so I just want to say the people who organised this, really well done. Let's give them a round of applause. This is the biggest Bushido event so far.
Whoa!
It's obviously really good location, central to Europe. We can all get here, so hoping it gets even bigger next time. You have to put another floor on the top of it. 8 more rooms in probably. Yeah, it's 64 players. It's a really big milestone. It means 6 rounds of Bushido, which is a lot, as you found out today. 4 rounds in a day. I hope the last game was just as good as the first one. Nobody was too tired of making silly mistakes. No, obviously Gordon was due to be here as well. He couldn't make it, but he was going to bring some little models for you to look at, and we were going to talk about them, but he hasn't. So I put together a little quick thing to do here. Firstly, I wanted to say I've still got about 20 unanswered messages on Discord, so if you sent those, sorry about that, I am working through them. But I wanted to just go through, we've had a great year this year for tournaments. I don't know how many of you guys have been to, but I've been watching them as they go, and obviously Wandler's been organising them as they go. But we've had a really good year. We've had a really good organisation of Grandmasters and Masters events. So we're going to have some more Grandmasters models, but we've also got the Masters models coming through. Do you want to do a bit about that? Tell them a bit about what's going on?
Yes, somebody please, while I talk. Thank you.
Yeah. So, thank you, Jason. So the Masters Wave of 24 is coming out now. It's a new wave. These are 6 models for 5 factions and a Ronin. Let's put it like this, or actually an Imperial as well. And I think that was a great success as a first try. I'm very thankful to Steve and Jason and Gordon for the support there to pick profiles, pick artworks, and then work with the community to create these profiles together. For this year, we decided on doing a theme box. It's the Pico clan, which is an additional clan like the Hair clan for Prefecture. The Pico clan are going into Minimoto. They are pretty well done, pretty well coming together. I thank everyone who has been to a Masters event so far for their input. Without the community, this would have been utterly impossible. And there were so many great ideas. Someone would say that who had the idea that the mother smells like an elderberry. What was that line? No? Really thank you everybody for your participation. It is going to be a box and a little bit extra, because when Gordon and I worked on the profiles, we quickly found out that that would be cool and this would be cool and we could do this as well, so it's a little bit more at this point, but very excited about that. And Gordon has also greenlit a similar effort for 26, so we are going to repeat that process. I will not promise you that it's going to be a theme box or singular models, we will find out. I'm in the process of scoping this, and we will work this on the Masters tournaments again. One last word to Masters. It is very much appreciated that people are rising up, volunteering to do Masters tournaments all across Europe and the globe. We have now people in the US coming in asking me, can I have an event, can we do something together? I had a message from Singapore, they want to host the Masters. So just the idea that there is something you can do that doesn't have to be one of the limited Grandmasters, but you still get support, you get attention, and you get to have a little bit of influence in how the game shapes up. Seems to get people together and seems to get people excited across the globe, and I'm very happy about that. And this is you guys being the nucleus, the center where this all started, and I do thank you so much. Thank you.
So that was this year. For the future, as well as the Grandmasters and Masters events, and I'm not going to say it's going to come next year, but it is going to come soon. We would like to run more types of events. So obviously, when the Fable campaign book comes out, we will be running more narrative type events. But we're also just going to run tournaments where, as you go along, your warband will advance and get more abilities, and you can choose different abilities, different tournaments. So every game you play, you'll get new stuff for your warband to do, which will add in another random factor that people can play when they lose. We want to do full narrative events where we can say, similar to how we did with the Dance of Dragons tournament, where we can say this is for this specific bit of the story that we're telling, and you're going to play games, not necessarily competitive, not necessarily one-on-one, just a lot of interesting different scenarios where you can then affect the story that's being told, and that will influence what miniatures get made in future. So those are things that we're really looking to plan. We're going to have a bit of a go at it at Adepticon, and since I started the January Grandmasters, that's always supposed to be a test bed for different things we can do, hopefully eventually leading to a Bushido con. So like the first one was Dance of Dragons, where we chose who would win the Dragon Civil War. Recently we did one with a bit of a presentation like this, and after it we did a bit of games design, and people chose some of the rules and things for how some of the advancement profiles are going to work for the campaign system. We've tried a few other different things. We've also got the fast events. The campaign book's got tournament style scenarios that only last 4 rounds instead of 6. So if you want to get a good big tournament done in one day, then you could play 4 games in a day. It doesn't take all day to do it. So you can do a one day with 4 rounds a bit easier. So that's all coming. These are things that we're looking at and planning. Some of it needs the campaign book, some of it doesn't. But we'd like to do more of that kind of event. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye on the social media outlets and possibly the website. I've got the website down here, but all I've written is soon. Oh, I think. No problem. Hello. Does that make any difference?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know.
Right. We've had a bit of discussion about the release schedule. I know a lot of people have been saying that we're going quite fast these days, and that more stuff's coming out and they can't keep up. A couple of people have said they stopped playing for like 5 months or 6 months and then came back and were bewildered by the tournament scene. This is a bit weird because to us, we think it only seems like it's speeding up because we're doing a lot more pre-releases than we used to. So hopefully this will calm down and eventually become the same as we were releasing before. The only change now is that we might have used to do like a box set as an entire wave. That would now be one thing in a wave, so there'd be 5 other models come out with it. So for people who are worried that we're going really fast, that is only pre-releases. The actual release schedule, if you just stick to that, shouldn't be that much affected by it. It should slow down eventually as we sort of say, oh, in this wave, you know, something's coming out that you've already seen, like, you know, we're going to release Ring of Fire or something as a general release. So that'll be at least 2 parts of that wave that you've already seen and people already have. So hopefully it should even out. And don't worry, we're not trying to just go faster and faster and faster and sell more. And we are also conscious of miniature bloat. We don't want to just keep writing new Ryu Samurai with slightly different abilities and just say, oh, you need this one too, because you probably don't. I think it would actually be difficult to write a generic Ryu Samurai at this point that we haven't already got a better version of. So we're looking for cooler things to do, which is things like that GM people are suggesting, or things for theme boxes, which are slightly outside of the normal Ryu identity, as it were. But some of that does come from you guys. So when you said we think you're making too much stuff, we did go back and look at it and check the release schedule and check that we're not putting out too much stuff, especially for factions that have already got a lot. So do keep saying that kind of thing on the Discord if it comes up. It does help, all the feedback helps, even the stuff that we don't like. I'm going to give you a bit of a chat about the January errata. Every errata we do a little bit of balance errata. It's got a bit out of hand this year, to be honest, but there might be a bit more than usual. The first one on there is, anybody guess?
One more. Okay, come on.
Toad.
It is Destiny's Sphere. Destiny's Sphere worked during playtest because there wasn't as much key generation in Awoken, and then people were saying that other abilities weren't working, and the faction was a bit boring because it was hard to generate key. So we gave them more key generation and missed that Destiny's Sphere then could be cast a lot more easy than it should be able to. So the two answers that we have is we could change the entire faction and redo its key generation, or we could change Destiny's Sphere. And I think people are quite settled with Awoken now, and they're quite happy with the key generation. It's not as easy as it is with everybody else when you just get it for free, you have to go out and work for it. But I think it'd be much easier for me, and probably better overall, to just change Destiny's Sphere. We've got some wording for that. Part of it's going to be you're going to only get dice for the number of webs you've got out, so it caps at 5. And it will only affect poison models in webs. So if you can get rid of a web, you won't be affected by it. There's more bits to it than that as well. We're trying a subtle change first to see that if that'll work. If not, I might just take it off. That'll work. The next big one is Host North Star, where I'm going to change every choice that you make at the start of an activation so that it works with the thing, so that choosing 2 is relevant, which is what we wanted to do when the theme came out. I just didn't have the bandwidth to play test it, but that should be happening this January. That started, and is it Jonathan was the Widow with Ninjas?
Yes.
Hello. He's offered to help, and we're going to start that sometime next month, I think. The next one is the Sisters, the Royal Princesses. This is a really easy one. We're going to change the points to, I think it's going to be 36 for all 3.
36.
So you have to take all 3, but it's 36. That will mean that there'll be rubbish in zones, because you have to have all 3 in a zone. But it does mean that, well, what I've basically thought of them, since we've got a lot more Imperials, the original brief was that they should take up about half your warband. And I think really they should be taking up about a third of your warband, looking at their abilities and how they function. Because they can't spread out over the whole table and affect half the battlefield. So we're looking at having them at 36. Obviously that'll go through playtesting and things. So that number might change, but that's the initial thing. And then this is the last one. This is going to be the hardest one to test. But skeletons and zombies. I've been playtesting and it's a lot of fun. Half the cost of all of them.
Half for the zombies?
Yeah.
Half the cost?
Half the cost of all of them. So you can have a proper horde of zombies or skeletons. But they're all going to gain aloof. So if you want to do some scenario, you've got to bring something else.
Excitement gone.
As far as I know. Oh, there you go. Now we've got some discussion.
Is it just in a theme or?
That'll be not in a theme, that's just a blanket change to all the profiles.
The skeletons also aloof?
Yeah.
Not halving the cost, right?
Yeah, half in the cost.
Even the skeletons?
Yeah. That's what we've been testing so far. Like I say, they'll go through play testing.
Still bodyguard.
We'll look at things like that, yeah. Whether they're suitable to still bodyguard your important objectives.
Will we be able to play the Yosei in Decay?
No, probably not.
Can you repeat?
the question.
If we can get Yosei in Death and Decay.
You won't start the Yuta to Death and Decay. No, I really want to keep the Yuta and Kato separate.
Okay.
Basically, they're both people who've been told that they're in charge of the cult by Uri, and they're not. But if they meet somebody else who thinks they're in charge, that'll ruin it for them. So we're going to try and keep them as separate as possible. Like I said, I think I'm the only person who's tested that so far. It's a lot of fun, and you get a proper horde of skeletons or a horde of zombies on board if you want. But like I say, there's a bit of play around it then, because you literally don't have to engage them if you don't want. They can't do the scenario. It's really good for zones, turns out. Sorry?
They still do everything, or are they just... can you prone them? I mean, that's the thing.
So we're going to look at the cards, and if we can fit all of the states that we want them to be immune on, it might be better to let them still be prone and something else, I can't remember which one. Held, probably, yeah, or immobile.
Fire.
But no, the camis are all immune to fire and poison and things like that, so, and they're powered by camis. So that was for that. But yeah, so those are the things that I'm really looking at. The playtesters got go on.
Will you give the big skeleton, the 25 rise skeleton, also a roof?
Not decided yet. He wouldn't be part of a horde, so he might stay. He might let you do a few things, like one non-living skeleton. Similarly, like the Yuta, I forgot her name, but the Yuta Furukumin Karai, one of everything. She might also not be aloof. But yeah, this will all go to playtesters. Like I say, it's Death and Decay doesn't get seen much, and this really helps because people want to play 20 zombies. And skeletons, obviously, I still think I prefer to face skeletons than zombies, but other people have other ideas about that, so we want to make them more friendly to play against. And this is designed for that. So on top of this, the playtesting team have been suggesting a lot of things. That thread is far too big now, but there's plenty of more suggestions, and this will go public before we finalise anything, and it should be done well before the January Grandmasters. Yeah.
Will there be a fix for Ikario?
Akira's fine.
Are you serious?
She get half in cost.
He gets half the cost and gets one key turn.
I will buy two campaign.
Yeah, no, I think she's fine at the moment. She's, like I said, there's definitely counterplay to her. If you've got something that in any way assassinates and is fearless, then she's just dead. You might as well not set her up.
Just get her other feet though. The one where she
can give you some damage back, but it's only a little bit. She doesn't have much. So unless I see her dominating tables and winning every Grandmasters, then I don't think we need to do much to her at the moment.
Okay.
Just face the other way.
Okay, I'm fine with it, I play her.
I like it. I like it.
Jason, can you put the mic a little? Yes. Nice, thank you.
Right, so you've got a few other things that I'm going to go through, again, future things that are coming up. So there is a new faction in the work that none of you have seen yet.
The Horsemen.
Everybody's seen them. We are going to do one new theme box for every faction. And when we say every faction, it might not be every faction. We are going to do new starter boxes for some factions. We don't like some of the starter boxes as they are. They were determined more by what models were low numbers of pieces, preferably single piece, and not traditional sculpts and various other things when we put those together. So one of them is definitely going to be a 90s boy band. But most of those will stay as they are, but we are definitely doing some more similar to the cult one that's just come out, which I think is much better than the previous one. And we've got one entirely new prototype that's coming out. So we're going to do a narrative box, which will get you some models from 2 different factions and some narrative scenarios, which makes a little campaign you can play through just with the stuff in the box. I don't know where that is on the release schedule, but some of the work started. We started with the campaign thing, and I think all I'll say is the first one should be 2 of the original 4 factions, because we don't want to leave them out. Like I say, they're getting quite full, but there is still stuff that we can do. And finally, you'll all know that Goat Song is on its way. I'm not going to say anything about that. It's Andy's thing entirely. All I did was a little bit of playtesting. So, but you know that GCT is expanding into doing more games. That's sort of miniatures board game arena type thing. But hopefully appearing at Adepticon this year should be set in the Machino world, a Dungeon Explorer game like Super Dungeon Explorer or Warhammer Quest. Where you will get some heroes and go into the Bakemono caverns looking for some stuff.
So we are finally sending someone to help out.
Possibly, or it might just be a bunch of random people because we wanted interesting heroes. So at the moment, I think it's a Ryu Samurai, a ninja, an Ice Witch, and a monk.
Will those models be playable in a normal game?
Oh yeah, definitely. And so will all the Bakemono named people who are going to be in the box. Right, that's everything I've got to go through here. So we'll do a bit of a Q&A now, if everybody's okay with that. If you've got questions, mostly for me, but if it's social or event-based ones, I might be able to answer. We'll do that for a bit, and then I've got, if we can make this work, I've got this as well, which we can have a quick look at. This might be a lot of shouting and trying to listen and write down, so we'll do that last. After more beers, maybe. So, anybody got any questions? Let's start this end.
Okay, many factions have...
Can you stand up?
Sure, I'll come to the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh wow! Okay, everyone, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Many factions have models that currently don't see any play, maybe really little. An example for the Bakemono cavalry, for example, the Yan cavalry, because Yan got 5 points cheaper, the cavalry stayed the same, so all the Bakemono groups. I don't know about the other factions, but are there any plans to not fix them, but change price, or because currently I don't see much use out of them.
Yeah, thanks for that. So there's a bit of a problem that we get. If in your example, if we made the Bakemono cavalry better, they're probably going to go into 1 or 2 lists and display certain models. So all we're doing is making it so that those models now never get used. So it's kind of just if we do change something with errata to make the least used models better, which is how I prefer to do things, it's still, we are also saying another model is probably going to fall out of tournament play at least. So we're not actually making the balance of the game any better, we're just changing which models you play. Now, given that some people like all of the different models, it's still a good thing to do. So yeah, we will look at that. But it's basically it doesn't help. There is no like magic balance point where everything is viable. If you change the point so that like if you say all the models are currently within 5% of each other as far as balance goes, if you change that to 1%, you guys will after like a month will still have worked out which ones are the 1% better and only play those. But yeah, it is still a good idea to take something that isn't played at all and either just reduce the cost or give it a new rule or whatever, and that will change the list, and you get a different meta, which is nice. People can play the models they like. If the model they like has gone out of fashion, then they know it's still playable because it's not changed. But there's a new option that they can have. So yeah, it is something we look at.
Thank you.
We're also looking at it in conjunction with some of the models getting redone, because obviously we can't 3D print anything that was a traditional sculpt. So anything that we got done with green stuff way back in the day is only makeable in metal. So we're going to have to resculpt those at some time. So if we resculpt them, they'll probably get either a card to go with them or a rewritten profile card.
Like Hamburg.
Yeah, like we've already done that with some of them, yeah. Yeah, I'll be here again. Something going around.
Any more questions? Raise your hands, guys. No one?
Yeah,
Is there gonna be a fix
Can you
for
stand
mass-
up and
I'll repeat it, it's alright.
Is there gonna be a fix for at least point wise for master bet and low code? Because a lot of people are a little upset about it, which is understandable.
They're probably going to be on the January list to look at. Luckily, the answer at the moment, if you think they're really good, is just put them in your list then, because they work for everybody. But yeah, they're obviously they're a bit overtuned. It might just be that they're a bit cheap. It might be that the swallow ability is a bit good, and we have to look at that. But yeah, we can, if it doesn't get done this January, it'll probably get done in a separate one next year. Thanks. Thanks for that. Anyone else? Yeah.
Do you have any plans to look into solars as a trade? Because I find it really like posing a lot of other abilities and preventing counterplay.
Yeah, so this is a legacy issue. Soulless is like the ability that does everything. It's fearless, it makes you immune to poison and various other things. I mean, we could probably split that into at least 4 different trades, and not all of the things that are currently soulless need all of those trades. There's no reason you can't set, I don't know, soldier ball on fire. Right, that's sort of like, should he, not fire poison, he can poison soldier ball, he's just a bird. Him being soulless shouldn't probably grab that. So, also, why does it overlap with fearless? This is something that we just had when I inherited the system, and I didn't change it last edition. But I think it's a big change, so it might have to be wait for a new edition if we ever do one.
Keep in mind that you have to rework a lot of the balance around all of the profiles that have soulless at the moment. So that will be just a massive errata on everything that is soulless or adjacent. Josip? Aufstehen, laut.
A lot of errata or for the January errata, there's going to be a balance update. A lot of is driven by the community, like, oh, this is not good, or is there anything where you say, from your perspective, that hasn't been mentioned, that you think is a problem or might get changed, or you think might need an adjustment?
From my end, it's often things that have changed due to new additions. So like the North Star thing is a good example for that. We put in the theme. I wanted to change all the ninjas to match the theme, but we just didn't have the time and the bandwidth to play test them all. So that's the kind of thing that I put in. I don't think I ever play a game and go, oh, that's obviously broken, needs fixing. But I play Temple, so. They're the perfectly balanced faction, right? Anything I'm trying to put in will be probably something that we just wanted to change to update it rather than balance changes. I get balance changes from statistics and whining on the Discord, Yeah, another one.
Do you have already plans when we see the next edition?
So I wrote the first things that I thought were wrong with this edition 2 weeks after the book was released. So that's about 6 years ago now. I think it was before COVID, so I don't really know the time.
Okay.
But yeah, you can't not prepare for the next edition. You have to. There's things that I didn't like about the current edition, but we had to get it released. So I have a folder for it, but I think we might have had plans for it earlier, but we had to buy, I think it's 8 3D printing machines, and a new edition is a big outlay. So that's just because we couldn't carry on with metal. It's just cost too much. You'd be paying about double what you are now for each miniature. We had to change that, so an edition has been delayed. And it might also be affected by things like Goat Song, which is nearly ready, and a new edition definitely isn't, so that will come first. Another one?
Yeah. Do you ever think about a living rulebook? So you can online have a living rulebook?
Yeah, it's on our website. Can you not access it? Yeah, if we have a good website, then that's exactly what we want to do. But the website needs to be working first. It needs to be at least the kind of thing where you can click a link and you actually go there. As a bare minimum, I think that's a reasonable expectation.
Is someone working on the website, or is that the rumor?
Yes, we actually talked to Gordon about the plan on how to replace the website, and I think talks are ongoing, and we have a preliminary plan to replace it as soon as possible. That said nothing, right? So Ben, myself, and another volunteer there who shall not be named are actively working on a plan to get it replaced as fast as possible. Yes, in the back.
I'm really new into Bushido, and if you buy models, some of the cards are outdated and you need new ones. Is there an idea of getting the cards on the website so you can download them and print them and not making screenshots from the website, writing them by hand or something, like a section for that? Because it's hard for new players to start in the game, because you always have a lack of finding the cards, you have to ask a lot of people, it's a lot of work. Is there something planning for that?
And again, that's partly the website problem, but there should be, if you go on the store, you can download a PDF of the cards. And I know they don't have this year's errata in, so we'll probably do the January errata and then update them all. But yeah, that is something that we've already got. You should be able to just get a PDF of all of the cards for every faction. And it's just weird because you have to go to the store and buy it, and it's free. And it'll give you a download.
So there is also a plan to have a download section where you can just click on the cards you want to download, and it creates a custom built PDF with the cards that you need for the future. That's one of the ideas for the future. So yeah, on it. Please.
Yes, we all know that the cycle decks, making the cycle decks is quite expensive for you, like printing all the stuff, and then people are like screenshotting the cards and not buying the decks, etc., because that has become the culture of Bushido, yeah, with replacing the cards with screenshots because of errata. So is there any plan to, I know you talked about it, but do you have more concrete plans now to turn the cycle decks into downloadable PDFs or something like this, and yeah, transform it into another media so it's easier for you and viable for us to give you money for it?
Yeah, again, having them as a download rather than a physical thing entirely is something that would require a website. So it is linked to that. We've said this is probably the last cycle deck we're doing for a while, but what I've done instead is I've looked at other vectors to get cards to people rather than just cycle decks. So we're doing different types of product, like the narrative product will come with a bunch of extra cards. So if we want to do new cards for a faction, we'll put them in a product for that faction. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a cycle thing, but we could also just put the cycle symbol on all the cards that we put out for a year or something, and it would eventually form a cycle deck if you buy those products. which also gets rid of the thing about somebody saying, oh, I want to buy this cycle deck but I only play one faction, so I'm paying a lot of money for 4 cards for my faction and 12 running cards, which is, you know, it's I think you can share them or whatever, but not everybody can, so it solves that problem as well by just giving you the ones that you want. So that's the way I've gone with it, but I'm tech averse, so if they sort the website out and make it so that you can buy digital versions and maybe only get them on the app if you bought the digital version, something like that, then that would be great. I think I'd quite happily go to just pure digital for all of it and have the cards as an optional extra that you can still get. We wouldn't get rid of them, but we can make it so that you don't need those, and we don't have to provide them. Yeah, we haven't got the infrastructure for that yet.
Earlier you said that you are quite unhappy with some of this edition. What are these things that you don't really like and want to change?
Okay, I mentioned I'd put some in like the week after the book came out. That was Poison, Fire and Bleed, and I think that it's better than it was in the last edition, and we sort of did it as a fix because it just wasn't working in the last edition. But I think they could be much better than they are now to represent a proper damage over time, whereas at the moment they're just like, oh, I've almost killed you, but this will finish you off in the end phase, and that's all they do at the moment. So I think that was the first things that I found, but again, it's not something that we'd want to change because it would affect a lot of profiles. The current version works fine. It's rare that you sort of put a bleed on somebody and they bleed for the next 3 or 4 turns, doing decent damage to themselves, which is kind of what you want.
So we all love the Celestial models that came out this year. Can you give us a hint how many more Celestial will there be in the next year, and what kind of animals they will represent?
All I'll say is that the next year's Celestials have all been seen on the Discord.
Really? Oh, okay. How many are there?
What did I see?
What's the fun in that? Come on, go and search.
Can you make the sound?
Or the titles.
No, I haven't come up with the titles for them yet either. So I think one of them's got a title. In fact, one will come out next year. That's I think it might be Craig's first profile that he's written from scratch. That's not a word. Written from scratch. So when you see that one, that was his.
Was that a hint? Rodent from scratch? Is it a?
Yes, it's a rodent.
No, it's obviously just scratch, so it's not a specific one.
Well, yeah, obviously there's going to be 12 in total, and the grandmother spider's the 13th. So I don't know how quickly they're going to come out, but the plan is to have them all. I wanted to have a theme list where you could field them all as well, but it works out about 300 points or something. Luckily they're all undercosted, so it fits. Any more?
Yeah. What is your favorite scenario and what is your least favorite scenario? Or which would you just throw into the dumpster, or are there any that you really like?
I think Osatsu is the one that I wrote that I think was different to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that one. I think that actually added something new to the scenario pack. We didn't have anything like that before. I don't know if everybody likes Osatsu or not. What do you think?
It's great.
That's the one where the big circles change depending on what one's the little. I think that gives you a really good dilemma early on. There's not one way to play it. You can go for them and change the zones if you want, and then try and fight over difficult zones. So if I was to write any more scenarios, there would probably be more things like that, which are a little bit different and add something new that we don't already have rather than just a variation on line, circle or VIM or whatever. I don't think there's any bad ones at the moment, really. I know there's some problems with depletion in some scenarios, but I don't think it's been too bad. I don't think there's any. The VIM ones always used to have the problem of if you lost your VIM, you had lost the game and there was nothing you could do about it. And the best you could do was a 2-1 loss. I don't think we've got that anymore. So I think I'd quite happily play all the others. I was trying to write, there's 2 that have got 3 small circles, and I was trying to write them both so that you could use the scoring systems for either. Because one of them, like the straight one, if you score any points on turn 1, it counts for nothing, because you reset on turn 2 and then score. Whereas the other one, you can build up your points 1 and 2. And I'd like to be able to do either one of those scoring systems for either scenario, but it was, you essentially have to write 4 scenarios out, so I didn't bother in the end. Do you have any, you like a least favourite or something that you want to get rid of?
I think Botoku is one of my least favorite because it's just a meltdown in the middle and you score rather late. So I don't really like the late scoring scenarios because they used to play the same, because it's just kill, 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 and the models who are left play the scenario, and often at that time you can just call it and say, okay, I have nothing left or 1 model left, and you score. And so I don't think there is, for some late scoring scenarios, it doesn't matter what the scenario actually is, because it's kill, 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 and then, okay, what's left, and whatever you need to do that.
Yeah, I think that was put in as a response to last edition Temple, I think, because they were really good at scenario. This edition, it's more things like Tengu and Ito. We put some things in where you have to have a long fight first. I don't think we'd want to get rid of the late scoring scenarios, but yeah, we can definitely look at what you have to do to keep them. Maybe because if it's like a zone, you have to accrue your points as you go along with no reset. Then you at least have to do that as well as the killing, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that could be something we look at. It won't be anytime soon because we've just printed the scenario packs. So they're staying as they are for the next few years, because I think we printed 500.
Yeah.
And they're going to be given out free at Grandmasters events and things. So if you go to another one next year, you should get a free tournament pack with all the tournament rules in it.
So the more Grandmasters we go to with people, the sooner we get a new scenario pack.
Yes.
If you can get 100 players to each one next year, we will print another set next year.
But you just print it, or do we actually have a say to fix them?
Yeah, I mean, we did put them out last year and the year before and said, this is your chance to send stuff in. And I think I saw something recently on about there was a VIM and depletion thing, and that's the first thing I've seen about actual scenarios for a while. And I think it definitely depends on the factions that you play as well, which ones you like. If you ask most Minamoto players, they probably think the 5-5-5 ones and then do stuff at the end are probably the best ones. Maybe zones, actually. Who knows?
Zones are best.
Yeah.
I've noticed that all the scenarios, when you do an interaction, you're not required. You either have the requirements to do them, or you don't. Well, in other games, let's say Infinity, sometimes you have to do a check. I feel it's intentional, but can you explain maybe why, or why you didn't include any checks into the interaction?
Yeah, so this is about levels of randomness. Right, so if you think, we've all played 40k, right? If you shoot a battle cannon in 40k, you get d6 hits or d6 shots. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh right, so this fires a lot of shots, right? And it's like, no, it's a big blast. Oh right, well why does it get 6 shots then? It's like, no, it can just hit 6 people. If you that's a level of randomness that game doesn't need, basically. If it just hit 4 people, for example, then that would represent a blast. And I think most tournament players would be much happier hitting 4 people than D6. Adding a check-in for being able to do things like that is sort of like the difference between Blood Bowl and Guild Ball. Blood Bowl, you can spend the entire game trying to pick up the ball and failing over and over. I've done it. You can fail 20 times to pick up the ball and then the game ends. Whereas Guild Ball, they were like, no, if you move near the ball, you just get it, because tournament players don't want that kind of thing. Now, Blood Bowl's a completely different game. Obviously, it's ridiculously successful, so nobody's going to be able to criticise Blood Bowl. But it does have that massive level of randomness where you have to roll for every little thing you want to do. Whereas for Bushido, we don't roll for things like that. We don't usually have random numbers of, like, we got rid of random numbers for the throw distances and the slam distances, because
and the extra 6.
And the extra 6s. What it's the reason for reducing the level of randomness is that makes it a more, I hate saying this, but it does make it a more tournament style game. Player agency and randomness are not opposites, but they are related, obviously. I think too many games would end up with, oh yeah, I would have won, but then I failed this check and couldn't turn the idol. Or something like that, you know. It's similar with games that have checks to see if you can climb a wall or jump over a chasm. Like it's like, I failed the check to jump over this 2-inch wide thing with my guy who's, you know, the super acrobatic person, and so he fell in and that lost me the game. Or, you know, I planned everything out perfectly and then this one dice roll failed, so it lost me the game. That's the kind of thing you don't want. Obviously, at some point in the game, the one dice roll is going to make you lose the game, but you'd rather it was a series of rolls and decisions, most importantly, that got you to that point, rather than just, I did everything right and then lost on a dice roll. So that's why we don't have checks for those. There's a lot more to it than that. I recommend the guy who invented Magic the Gathering has a YouTube video, and it talks about how skill and luck are not opposites of each other. They are just different axes on a graph, and it's very interesting if you want to read that. And that will tell you a bit more about it. I don't think we've got time to go into it now. I find it fascinating. I did maths at university, so all that kind of thing is really interesting to me, but not so much interesting for people who just like to paint samurai and have beers with their friends. So we won't go through it now. Any more? No?
Yeah, move on. Let's move on to the next part, yeah.
Okay, if you just open Chrome, I might be able to, I'll see if the mouse works.
Yes, what should I do, Jason? I do the all the same.
Just open Chrome.
Yes.
There you are.
Is it?
Nice.
No, it's gonna go.